Yeah.
Should have put him in Kara's shot for the four.
No. We're
Oh, that would have been so
Oh
funny.
my gosh, for the post show.
For the post show.
good.
Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back.
Post show.
Big love. Big love from the studio audience today.
Big love.
Welcome back to What the Podcast. I'm Ryan.
I'm John.
Together we are
Ryan and John.
on the couch as always. Joining us from our sister show, our sister program, Growing Pains with Annie.
Hi, y'all. Thanks for having me. I really love it here.
Annie the Scope Man. Always fresh.
Thank you.
Never
Thank
frozen.
You.
First episode really of the new year, I'll say. I saw a TikTok that said, I feel like last week was kind of a wash, and this is Monday the 6th. Really feels like the start of the new year.
Yes, that's right.
So we're in it. We're in our grind.
we are in it.
Grind set. Guys, working on those New Year's resolutions.
Oh, resolutions. I kind of have some ins and outs.
Okay. I'm ready for it.
Good. Yeah, ins and outs.
Oh, we're just going to kick right into ins
Well,
and outs.
that's
Well,
kind of
you
the best
said
part
it.
of the show is
You said
we just
it.
kick right into the thing we're talking about.
Okay. In,
Uh-huh.
Go ahead.
in, making coffee at home.
Yeah.
Definite. Big in. Big in.
That is
Yeah,
in for
there's
sure.
in saving money. It's kind of like in that umbrella
Yeah.
of like in saving money.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Out, uncomfortable clothing.
Out.
Okay.
Big out.
Okay.
Okay.
There's like other things that are out for me, like out. In actually, let me do this one. In
Yeah.
responding to the haters on TikTok.
In.
I just find I have so much joy in
Interesting.
it.
Okay.
So that kind of goes into my out things that don't cause me joy.
That's solid.
Yeah.
In for me, being outside.
Oh,
Out.
you just spent some time outside.
I did.
You had your rec time in the yard.
Yes, I was allowed my 15 minutes of sunlight today. In being outside, out, screen time. I'm trying to kick my screen time.
Oh, that's good.
Yep.
Very good.
Yep.
Very good.
I would say in saving money.
Maybe original.
Yep. Yep.
Wait, hold on. Be nice.
Did you say saving money?
No, she said way to be original.
Jesus.
No, I said saving money.
Just now you said it?
Yes.
You certainly did not.
I said in making coffee at home, and I go, well, really in saving money.
Okay.
I heard
Got it,
making coffee.
No, hey,
Okay.
we can hold each other accountable.
Hey,
Respect.
Respectfully.
Respect. That happened on my
In
account.
Hey, wait.
respect.
Sexy.
in same paging.
Same paging.
I'll say this. Out.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's gonna sound like I'm going against something that I love. But hear the whole thought before
I'll
we
hear
judge
it.
it.
We'll hear it.
okay.
We'll allow it.
Okay.
Out yapping. In moving in silence.
Got it.
And here's why. Because I feel like I have a lot of goals that I've been telling you guys about. And I've been yapping about them. And I think that
Whoa.
and I think I need to stop the yap and start just
Hell yeah.
doing the damn thing.
Hell
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? Annie,
That attitude is in. That attitude
there are
is so in.
I've got like
I
a few
really-
irons in the fire and I just need to like
I really
Cut the
support
chatter.
you. Yes. I can't support not yapping.
no, I get that of course.
As a
I was
certified
just-
yapper,
Uh-huh.
I'm going to get it tattooed on my chest.
I was
Samesies.
just telling
Samesies.
Annie today that one of my little subplots of the year is I'm gonna make me a latte art every week until your coffee cart gets off the ground.
I did just hear about that in
and
the
I
kitchen
told you
just now.
because I think
Yeah.
it's true. I think like it. I say
He
this.
did say I'm going to have him make me one until I can order one at his coffee
I
cart.
Deal.
said
Deal.
I say this in love because what I mean by this is I totally know where you're at. Like I've been there so many times where you're like this, like you're doing all like the market research and you're like running the imaginary numbers in your head. You're going like this could work, this could work, this could work, this could work, and you never, not never, but you hardly go out and like let's do it. And I'm like, this is my little way of like trying to just supporting you and saying, hey, until he's ready, I'm gonna make him practice.
You know what I heard recently? Doing the thing. No. Talking about the thing is not doing the thing.
True. True.
Planning the thing is not doing the thing.
Hey.
You know, vision boarding.
Hey.
You know, that's getting ready for the
Yeah.
thing. But until you're doing the thing, you're not doing the thing.
Yeah. No,
Wow.
1,000%. Another thing that's kind of like, I don't know if this would be in or out. In. Out. I think that like out like dating apps.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Okay.
In just shooting your shot in person. In that same way that
Wow.
it's like when did we just stop going up to people?
So you're gonna do
It's
that
like
this year.
I would rather be rejected in that 0.2 seconds before I sit and scroll and analyze your
Yes.
whole like account, analyze if we'd look cute together, see how I'd rather just go up and be like, if you reject me in person, great. And then it's 2
Cuts
seconds.
out all the bullshit.
Yeah, and then it's like, okay, cool, on to the next. And if you want to get to know me, cool, we can get to know me. But I heard someone say they're like, dating apps are so tricky because you go from like 0 to 1,000.
Yeah.
You're like, by the first date, you're already like, we have the intention to date, right? And you're like, whoa,
Dang.
like
Dang.
there's like you're getting to know each other while also trying to build a full on relationship. It's like
You want to meet somebody organic.
And I'll say
it doesn't even have
this.
to be organic. It can be processed as hell. But
I don't know what that.
Just not
Well, then
on
what
that
would that
This,
mean?
I think
at like a fast food joint.
I think you're onto something because I think that we're in the age of knowing too much about somebody before you go on a date with them. Like,
Yes,
like the
yeah.
apps you're saying, you know,
Yeah.
it's like because even watching you sometimes swipe on the apps,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like you're way over analyzing it. Like immediately, you're like, oh, he wore that flannel, like he's out. I'm like, hold on, wait, like
Yeah.
he wore
the
he
girls
could
who
be
get
a
it,
good
get
guy.
it, and the guys that don't.
And I said this recently to you, and you took it the wrong way. I said I think you're being too picky, and I didn't mean it like you can't be picky. You can be picky, but I think you always like. And Ryan knows this too.
Yeah.
You know, for two guys, I'd say we're married pretty young compared
You
to
are
the
sure
standards now.
infant, you're child
Sure.
brides.
But
I
there
would
are
say so.
things. There are things in marriage, even in marriage, that you're like, I have to just go with this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You gotta
And
just go with it.
You can't like if people these days are trying to find this perfect, like we align perfectly, and I think there are things that you need to be picky on, but it's like just because he likes something or she doesn't, she does this weird thing. That's marriage, honey.
Yeah. Valentine's-
You're dealing with that. You know what I'm
Valentine's
saying?
Day's around the corner, kids.
I think
True.
that I'm going to just double tap on something you said just now, which is we know too much about people.
Yes.
And that is why in Moving in Silence is
Yeah.
that I don't need to share all the details with,
Yes.
you know, your cousin or, you know, everybody online.
Yep.
I am moving silently.
You once said this to me,
Yes.
and I
Yes.
think about this a lot. You once said this to me. You go, people know I'm available, and that's bad. you said people know I'm
True.
available. You go, that's the problem
Yeah.
is people know
And
my
that
schedule.
right there
and so when they
is the
call me and they
problem.
said, hey, you're free, right? And it's like, I can't even lie. They know I'm free.
The you in question. You
The
mean
you being me.
the you being you. Being
coming
like,
to your house.
yeah.
Being like, hey, buddy, want
what
to
do
get
you
a
know what?
latte?
like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
gonna
haven't seen
say
you in
s-
like 4 days. What the heck?
I
I'm
know.
gonna say something
I know.
controversial too, and I know we're big fans of it, in this friend group. But
Let's see.
find my friends, kind of toxic.
I was kind of thinking
Yeah.
about cutting it
Kinda
out this
toxic.
year.
I feel, and you guys have noticed, every once in a while, I go ghost mode on there.
Yeah,
I
by the
don't.
way,
I haven't
I
noticed.
use it toxically. I'll admit, I like knowing where you guys are. You know what I'm saying?
I-
But at the
I
same
like to
time, I'm
see
like,
where my Sims
when I
are.
zoom out, I go, kind of weird.
Kind of
Yeah.
weird.
Have you seen,
Interesting.
because we're in a friend group that everyone has it.
Yeah.
Like everyone has like a list. I have like multiple scrolls of pages of people
Yeah,
that I have on
same.
Find My Friends.
Same.
I was with another friend group of mine.
They're like, what are you?
They
doing?
have literally, they have mine, the other person in the friend group, and their parents. It's like 4 people.
Yeah.
And I go,
You can't scroll on
wait,
Five My Friends.
wait.
You're not in Five My
I
Friends.
go, wait, you don't have multiple. They're like, no. I go, every once in a while, I'm like, oh, they're visiting NorCal. Oh, he's in town. Wait,
Yeah.
what are you
and
doing
I
here?
know, and I know that when I do something out of my bounds,
Yeah.
Annie will report back to me.
She'll
He
go.
said, why are you there?
Hey, are
she'll
you
go.
good?
She'll like. I'll see her on Monday, and she'll go, "Hey, we record the podcast on Mondays," and Annie will go, "Hey, what were you doing in El Cajon yesterday?" I'm like,
I said, why are you in Lakeside? Why are you in Ramona? That's weird.
I'm like,
Oh.
I went out of bounds. That's why.
Weird.
I will say
That's why.
edging like multiverse stuff.
Uh-huh.
When Annie was in Arizona a while back,
Yeah.
and now
That
to
was
be fair,
crazy.
you live with me, so checking up on your location, I don't think is that
Yeah.
weird. Because you were out of town, I was like, I want to make sure she's not like halfway
Dead.
to Mexico or something.
Yeah.
'cause
Sure.
then
Oh,
she got trafficked.
Let
right?
me tell you. Well,
And
traffic is one thing. If I turn off my location, I go to Mexico.
You're never gonna find
Yeah,
me again. I
you'll
know
never
you're
find me
you're reinventing, but I looked at her location and you know him, so I'll say his name, and he won't mind that I say his name. But her and CJ
Okay.
were down the street from each other.
Whoa.
She was staying in a house, and CJ lived in a house down the street. When I went to
Yeah.
her location, I saw CJ
CJ
literally the
CJ
same
and I
block,
hook
and
it
I was
up.
like, what?
That was her last Tinder moment.
I came back and John was like, "So wait, what friend were you staying with? Where did you meet? No, John, you don't know him." He's like, "No,
Well,
but like,
I
how
might know
I feel
him.
like I might.
him? You don't know him? It was a him."
It would have been really funny if you
How
guys
funny.
happened to stay at like the same hotel that night
Oh, I
or
would have.
something.
I would have spiraled.
You would have been like, "Who are you with this
I would've been
weekend?"
like-
she'd be like, "What are you talking
what's
about?"
so funny?
And you'd be like, "You were with CJ."
When
like,
I first
So
entered
good.
that like the friend group, John's sister-in-law was like, "What about Annie and CJ?" Had never met the kid. Now,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
still I don't think I've ever actually
Love them
met
to death.
CJ.
Love both you guys. Definitely not the right fit for each other. But keep
Okay.
going.
CJ,
Noted. I'm gonna.
let's prove him
He's,
wrong.
by the way, CJ's in a
Call me
committed
up?
relationship.
Oh,
Oh,
CJ.
well, that's why.
You're
Stay
in
there.
a committed
CJ,
relationship.
stay there.
Don't be like that.
No.
Stay.
Down boy.
It's so good. It's so good. He'll probably
CJ,
see that.
Stop! Oh my
he won't see that.
gosh.
He's not gonna.
He won't
He's not gonna
He'll
say
never see this. Well, but he might be one of our many listeners.
that. Yeah.
Thousands. We
Wild.
6,000 followers on TikTok. He
Hey,
might be one of them.
yo.
Hey, yo.
That's a lot of followers.
That is.
I know a lot of followers. But yeah, you're right. We know too much.
Yeah, we
should,
do.
Yeah.
We do.
We should start circling back. But you know what? But then there's like the other side of that, right? Of like, what if you like, because then my thing about knowing a lot about my friends is like, I feel like I'm doing life with them.
Yeah.
Like imagine
Right.
like if you guys, okay, you guys saw this TikTok, this guy, he and his wife fully have a baby.
Uh-huh.
She's pregnant 9 months, has the baby. They go to his side of the family for
Yeah.
Christmas.
Let's talk about it.
And they don't tell anyone in their family that
Yeah.
they had the baby. they
Now-
don't even tell
now,
that they were pregnant.
Is that
Controversial take.
extended family?
no,
Is that
it was
immediate
his
family?
close.
His family.
It's
It
his
was
family.
mom
It's
and his
immediate.
dad.
It's parents and his
Oh,
siblings.
so he lives out of town, obviously.
yeah.
Yeah,
So they live in
yeah,
a different state. And
We,
he's
I mean,
he's
the
a
three of
pretty
us
big
all live in the
influencer.
same, generally, city. Some of
Yeah.
us down the street from our parents.
Yeah.
You guys,
Most of
if
us.
you guys,
So that is just not something we could
No.
ever get away with.
well, not with how I stalk you guys.
no.
No way.
No, I mean, like,
I would
not
suss that
telling
out so
your
quick.
immediate family.
Oh, yeah, no way.
Well,
think-
here's why I think it's a tough take because
Yeah.
I think it is a funny bit. I'll say.
So explain the video.
Okay, so basically,
Well,
this
that's what it
couple,
is.
this young couple, shows up to a family gathering or something, and hasn't
It's
told
Christmas. They come into town for Christmas.
Christmas and hasn't told their entire family that not only that the wife was pregnant, but they've given birth to the baby.
Now
Yeah.
Now they did say when I was watching it, they were like a lot of them had suspicion. Like
Yeah,
some of them were like,
someone was like,
knew
"I knew it."
And
Yeah.
you're like, okay. There's always one person in your family that seems to know about everything else that's going on in your
Yes,
family.
for sure.
And I'm sure that person was
person's
like,
Annie.
I got it. You know, my sister's that
Now-
in our family, but
The
That's so
comment
true.
section was pretty divided when I read it.
Oh, yeah.
Because partially people are saying, like, you sort of owe it to your family.
oh,
like,
I don't know if I believe that. I don't know if I get on board.
I don't
with that.
know. That's hard.
like how
because
dare you withhold, this? It's
wasn't
not just
their-
your
Owe it to
baby,
your
it's
family?
a
Come
part
on,
of your
give me a
family.
break.
I would
and-
say it might be different too. Like my parents are going through. My sister's pregnant, and it's the first grandbaby in the family.
Yes.
Sweet.
Now this one,
Cute.
they already had another kid, and he seems to be the youngest of all his siblings. There were other kids running around, so it's kind of like middle of the road, right? Like
Oh, the couple already
the
had
couple,
another
yeah,
baby?
they had an older kid.
Oh, okay. If it was first baby, I'd be like,
Oh,
hey, that's, I mean,
no,
that's
there were
not
little
cool.
kids running around. Yeah.
yeah,
no.
so it's also that kind of thing where like he's from
that's
a
the
pretty
edge.
big family.
Maybe that's his edge. You know what I'm saying? Like all of his other siblings have had a couple kids, and my edge is I'm gonna be surprised.
I would kind of my parents. I love them to death. That I've now like withheld enough of my life that when they ask me things, they're like, we know you're a private person. You might not want to share. And I kind of love that power. I'm like, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I come here every Monday.
Which part of your life is private? That's what I want to know.
You want to tell me about? Yeah. They learn most of my stuff on this podcast.
Yeah, it's true. They do listen to the podcast.
That's so
I know
funny.
it's a dangerous game.
I see my parents multiple times a week. I don't hold, pretty much anything from them.
Yes.
But they also say that they learn stuff from me from the podcast. They're oh, like you said this thing, or like, oh, Karaset, or like your friends. Like, oh, what's that about? I'm like, oh, okay.
Every once in a while, my dad will, he'll see a clip on YouTube or somewhere, and he'll go, "I saw what you said on the podcast." I'm like, you'll have to be more specific because I record one every week, and I say a lot of things.
216 of them.
And he'll tell you what it is. I'm like, oh yeah, and he's like, you don't really think that, do you? I'm like, yeah, no, I think that.
Funny.
I think that.
No, I said it on a microphone.
He's like, you're just saying it for the podcast. I'm like, no.
That's when I go like, I love you, Trump. And my parents are like, Annie. I'm like, Mom.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I bleed red, white, and blue.
I can't wait for him to see this part of the podcast and go,
I saw what you said about me saying that on the podcast. I love your dad.
Meta.
I love your dad.
Hey, dude.
Now the flip side of it is
kind of cool.
The comment section of like people are like, hey, you know what? This is their journey. The parent, it's their baby and their journey, and they don't owe it to anyone. And I think that while I agree with that it is their personal journey, and they should, if they feel like they want to just do it on their own, they should do it on their own. But it's also coming from a place where a lot of people on TikTok, at least maybe the side of TikTok that I get pushed regarding these kinds of videos sometimes is like, if your family's toxic, cut them out. Like, go no contact.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, like sometimes I see that and I'm like, hey, but life is way more nuanced than that, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're like, you know what? They don't owe it to anybody. Like, that's their baby. And it's like, but also boundaries.
The
like,
thing that's hard is like, obviously their family's not toxic if they're
obviously
going
not.
celebrating Christmas with them.
They received them
and
really
also,
positively.
And we gotta say, like, I think it was like a funny bit received in their family because the way the dad reacts, the dad picks him up from the airport.
He's
First
so
one,
chill
he's
about
like,
it.
he's like, oh, whose baby is that? He's like, our baby, and he goes, oh, and they just.
He's like, they're gonna be pissed.
They're gonna be so mad at you.
Yeah, I think it is like when I think about it, I'm like, my family would not be down for that.
Oh,
but
my parents would be pissed.
I also think like, yeah, I kind of get why you'd be a little upset. I mean, yes, it's their journey and they can, but like, I think what's kind of cool, having my brother and now my sister kind of go through having kids. It's like, the journey is kind of the best part about that whole thing is like getting to kind of walk through the whole pregnancy and support them and love them. And I'm like, you missed out on all of that.
It's like its own thing.
Yeah.
Like, but for some people it is like, you hear these horror stories about mother-in-laws that like change as soon as there's this baby involved. And it's like, oh shoot. Like,
but
it's true.
It's like seeing my sister go through pregnancy. She's 16 weeks. I feel like she's been pregnant forever.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm like, she's not even halfway. And I'm like, man, like, I don't even, like, you don't even realize how long 9 months is. And then I feel like that baby comes. Like, your niece is how old now? Like 9 months?
She's 10 months.
10 months. I feel like she arrived yesterday. Yeah. I'm like, how did 10 months go by?
I saw a photo on my phone. It was one of my screensavers the other day. And somebody was like, whose baby is that? And I was like, and they know Scout. I'm like, it's Scout. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, it's just when she was like, 1 month old. And they're like, it's so crazy how, because I was saying too recently, it feels like she's starting to look like an individual.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because babies, they all kind of look the same. Well, no matter what you say, they look the same for most people.
Generally speaking.
Until like they hit probably now like 9, 10 months, 11 months.
Sure.
And then she starts to and you're like, oh, okay, I can pick her out of a lineup now.
Yeah.
But like 2 months ago, you could have put 3 babies in. I don't know.
You seem way out. I mean, I spent some time with my family this weekend, and this was pretty special time, I'll say.
Yeah.
It was my whole family and my cousins, right? Because my dad and his sister are super tight. Like, we've always been tight, this big family.
Cool.
And now it's like everybody's getting married or has girlfriends and is having babies. And it's like, and my aunt made this kind of nice post that was like, yeah, the kids are the grown-ups now. And like now and they have kids. And it's like this weird thing of it. I mean, at some point,
it is true though.
Like, the days are long, but like the years are short. And then suddenly you've got a bunch of
Yeah.
adults like that were just kids squirreling around in the yard.
I was
Misty,
talking
I'm
with a
gonna be all
friend
misty
today.
eyed now.
Yeah, I know.
My-
Do it.
Crazy.
I was talking
I've
with a
been
friend today
misty all weekend, John.
about how
Sweet.
this is the I dreamed for so long to be 25.
Mm-hmm.
When I was growing up, I thought 25 was going to be the best year ever. I was like, I want to be 25 so badly. And now in a couple weeks, I'm going to be 27. I
Wow.
just skipped 26. I wasn't that year. I just dropped that one.
I was gonna say I don't.
No, but for so long, and then like I hit 25, and I remember in like probably like 20, like 23 to now, I've always been like, man, 30 is gonna be such a great year. And I was like, I dreamed of being this age. Like I dreamed of being like in these upper 20s, and I was like, man, like for so long. And now I'm like, as I'm approaching closer to 30, I'm like, man, to be 24.
You know what? You have to just trivialize, like, going to the liquor store.
Yeah.
Like, you have to trivialize, like,
Yeah. No,
being
that's
able to
it.
jump in your car and do whatever you want. Because I've been thinking about that a lot lately, where I'm like, oh, like, free will is so real.
Mm-hmm.
When you've got a little bit of, disposable income and a car and you're 20,
Yeah.
and you can just do whatever you want on the weekend, like,
Yeah.
that is
My-
that.
You don't have a lot of bills.
My
too.
pastor.
Oh my gosh,
That's the
for
big,
real.
One of my
money spot.
pastors on Sunday, he preached and he said this thing, and I wrote it down. It's been in my mind since yesterday.
Uh-huh.
And it was, he said, you're like, oh my gosh, I've been butchering it every
that's
time I
fine,
go to
that's
say
fine.
it.
Let her cook.
No, seriously, every time I've gone to say it, I've butchered it, but it's too good not to.
That's
not
why you
to
wrote
say
it down.
real.
That's why you wrote it
Your
down.
definition of enough is going to have to change, because he was talking about this whole
Whoa.
idea of like, you want this thing, like when I have enough, like when I have money, that's going to be when I feel enough. And then you get the money, and then you stress so much about keeping the money.
Yep.
And then he's like,
Wow.
or when I wanted stuff, if I just get this stuff, and then your whole focus is keeping that stuff or getting the next stuff. And he's like, your definition of enough is going to have to change. He's like,
Period.
because you will never be happy if if it's never enough. And then he talked about that of like, what, like your life has joy in it right now.
Yes.
You just need to allow that joy to be enough to be joyful for today.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that's
Let
so
'em
true.
have it. Let 'em
In the
have
same
it.
way that it's like when I was talking to my friend today, I was like, man, we are living in the era, the future we wanted, and the past will crave. Like it, like they're like,
Wow.
I'm gonna. These are the time.
That's deep.
You know, it's the end of the year thing because I've been also getting lots of like inspirational videos and stuff on my TikTok and my
Yeah.
YouTube
Well-
and everything. I saw this one that was like, if nothing, I mean, it was like really
Yeah.
introspective. Like if nothing matters, if this universe, if it's true, this universe is gigantic and it's ever expanding, and we're gonna live, a blip of this time, right? You have to make everything important. You have to like take every single day, because if nothing matters, you have to make everything important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's just like I've been cooking on that one
Oh, yeah.
a lot lately.
Yeah.
I came home today from a coffee shop and like working and stuff, like working. I came home from work today.
I was working.
And John and
And-
Jordan were in the kitchen, and it's like a sweet season that I get to like share with them and like live, for a very cheap rent
As
in their
their kid.
house. Thank you,
Yeah.
thank
Yep.
you, mom and dad. But I came home and
We're gonna gloss over that, right?
We're just shooting shit,
Called you
mom and dad. No, anytime John pays for anything, I'm like, thanks, mom and dad.
God,
It's true.
Sweet treat tax.
don't mind if I do.
When she pays, I have the experience that I'm sure her dad has when she pays, where I'm going, what? Are
Yeah.
you sure? Like
Yeah.
I could pay for it.
It's
I'm like,
when
no,
you-
no, on me, man.
Yeah, when you buy
on
lunch
me.
for your parents,
And I'm like,
you're like, we're even.
Oh, all
We're
right,
even.
all
For the
right.
years.
I was
Yeah.
like, dang.
No, I'll literally go shopping at my parents' house, and my dad has now started buying like extra paper towel and extra toilet paper. He's like, your toilet paper's by the door, because I just started, or because I would, when they're on a trip right now, I'll go to their house, I'll steal their stuff, and at the Ring doorbell, I'll take the grocery bag I have and
Oh.
show them all the stuff I
like,
took. I go,
this,
you're gonna need more of this. You're gonna need more of this. I took the last of this.
More, you took it. It's gone.
That's what I'm saying. Like, when you come back from the store from their trip, you gotta hit the store
But
hard.
that's, I mean, come on.
That's
Your parents
that's
love
parent.
that.
But
Your parents
okay,
love that.
That's
back
hilarious.
to the
Sorry.
story.
Go ahead.
I came back and John, we're like, just like
Hanging
talking,
out.
laughing in the kitchen, and I literally went, oh, I love you guys. And John goes, here she goes again.
What a
You know,
loser.
sappy.
again.
You know, sappy. But it really is like, it's...
That's good.
It
Wrong
is
way.
like
Wrong
such
way.
a
Cut that-
sweet,
cut that
and
first
we
part out.
and we talked about this too the last time. The last time I was with you guys, I'm gonna die in that room.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be. You're gonna have to bury me in this house. I'm gonna live here forever.
Jesus.
Um,
Hopefully not,
guys,
right?
She will
guys,
die
oh my
here.
gosh, come on,
Come on, it's
stick
a
with
bit.
it.
It's
It's a bit. It's
We
a
don't
bit.
have
A
to. You
bit.
don't have to bury the person where they died, right?
No, but
Well-
in California you can't. But in other states,
can get
you don't have to pay.
tax-free.
Yeah, no property tax if it's there's dead body. California doesn't count, but
How
If you
long?
bury them on the
that's
property,
why.
it's
That's
no
why,
property tax.
bro.
'Cause
That's
it's
why
taxed
Donald
so
Trump buried his ex-wife on his golf course, so he doesn't
No.
have to pay
He doesn't pay
tax on his
taxes,
golf
yeah.
course.
Okay. I don't know if I've said this on the show or not, but this is something I've been thinking about,
Yeah.
and I want to address it.
Go ahead.
Okay.
God forbid,
Oh God.
right?
Yeah.
Knock
God
on wood.
forbid that I ever get into a car accident and die, right?
Uh-huh.
But if I
Okay.
do get into a car accident and die,
Okay.
do not put a memorial for me
By the side of the road.
by the side of the road where I crashed and died.
Oh, yeah.
That is so true. I couldn't agree with you more.
That's
I
out.
think
There's-
it's
Out?
crazy.
It's out.
Side of the road
Out
memorials.
that. Now,
In
obviously,
Celebration of
like
life.
rough that anybody's going through that, but I'm sorry, you're telling me, like, if I was, shot in the street, you wouldn't have a little memorial there.
Yes, they do.
Well, I might.
You
Yes,
wouldn't.
they do.
You wouldn't go back to the hospital and be like, "Oh, this is where he, died."
No, I would. Yeah, I guess
think
you're
it's-
right.
I
No,
think it's tied to
I'm
trauma.
sorry.
I think that only happens
Healing
if
that
you
place.
have something like traumatic, abrupt that happens to you in the world.
And I'm saying, do not go back where it happened. This is where it happened. Oh, we love Ryan. It's like the side of
Ryan,
the freeway
hold on,
meant
Ryan.
nothing to me in my life.
By-
Why
by-
would you
us to go
honor me
somewhere.
there?
Okay.
By saying this on the show,
Yeah.
you know we have to do that now.
I know.
If
I
you
know.
die
you guys are gonna do
on
that.
the freeway,
God
Ryan,
damn it!
we
I'm gonna die in a
have-
hospital,
we
and you
have
guys are
to.
still
not
gonna
only do we have to
put
set
it
a
on the
memorial,
side of the road.
we have to pull this clip from this episode,
And we're having it
then
on a
have a
loop.
photo of the memorial.
GIF. It's just a GIF.
Yeah.
with-
A loop.
yeah.
No, it's
A
gonna be
TikTok loop.
like those Christmas lights where it's like tune into this, and we've bought a radio station
Yes.
and we just loop this
Yeah.
clip.
Even better,
You're
not where he
absolutely right.
died, but we'll set up a memorial in his chair, and we'll just cut to him every time.
And you'll have a picture of the side of the road,
and
like
then we'll
in
set
the
up
chair.
we'll set up little buttons of things he said, and we'll include him in the conversation as much as we
No.
can.
Ryan, I don't care if you die of old age in a hospital bed. I'm
doing
choosing a side of the road,
That's-
and I'm
Yes.
So
setting
messed
a
up.
whole,
That is so messed up.
whole narrative
okay,
aside.
At least that'll be
In-
hilarious.
in hilarious bits.
At least
Out.
that'll be funny. But like I'm
roadside
telling you,
memorials.
is that please don't set it up.
Which
where-
one really spiraled you recently that you saw?
Oh, I see them all the time
I
on
know.
the. Oh, we live at the end of the 8 freeway, and right there, people crash all the time, and there's always flowers and memorials.
Oh, it's kind of sad.
It's really sad. Do not do that. If that happens to me, don't
Such
do
a
it.
bold
It's
stance.
so crazy because it makes me want to do it so
badly.
for
Yeah.
you.
I know.
Yeah.
And I know that's so toxic
That does
of
it,
me.
it does insinuate that I am going to die in a car crash, which
And
would
I don't
be
want you to
horrible.
don't.
die. I don't
Please
Which would be,
don't.
it would be
Die.
horrible.
I don't want you to die.
I don't think anyone should.
No, you should.
I don't want any out death. No more death.
Death.
Oh my
In
gosh.
Living forever.
Yeah,
Living
agreed.
forever.
Guys, I just watched that Interstellar movie this weekend.
I know. You said, how was it? Was it good?
Fantastic.
I think
Yeah.
I've
Truly
seen it.
fantastic.
It's been a minute because
It's-
I don't remember
it's
much
sad.
of it.
It's one of
but-
your favorites, I hear. Kara told me it was one of your favorites.
I do really
What?
like Interstellar.
Actually,
Oh
I should say
gosh.
it's a movie that you ruminate on.
yes.
Yes.
Oh
Now
yeah.
you wouldn't listen to that
Any-
just cleaning your room.
No,
though.
she
no,
would. certainly.
that's
because
too sad.
it's sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, any movie. And
the Matthew
spoilers
McConaughey
for
one?
yes.
Matthew McConaughey.
I've seen it.
Spoilers for
Yep.
Interstellar. Any movie. Same. Sandra Bullock has a similar movie, Gravity.
Uh huh.
Not similar,
Not
but
really.
Space,
Kind of.
space theme.
Not
Space theme.
She's in
really.
space.
But no, but it's similar in the sense that there's a moment where they have this like understanding that they will never see their kids again.
Oh,
my
horrible.
God.
And
I'll say
You're gonna
without
get me on
spoiling it,
that.
the last like 20 minutes of the movie had my mouth. My mouth was open. I was just watching. Like I've never seen anything like this. It's so good. Truly.
It is.
That's pretty
gut wrenching.
So
Yeah.
I figured let's take some time out of this podcast to talk about a 10-year-old movie that I've seen for the first time.
Yeah.
And then that's good.
That'll be
Bada
it.
bing, bada
Bada
boom.
bing. That's
And
kind of your
cut.
MO.
We're good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
So good.
Guys, I
Yeah,
just-
we'll make sure to
I
put
just
one
watched
of
this
the, a
movie.
copy
It
of
came out
Interstellar
10
at your
years
roadside
ago.
memorial.
We're gonna link this below.
You know what was also sad?
Let's hear it.
Watching Kamala Harris certify her loss
Oh
today.
my god. That was like I didn't realize the fact that the vice president.
Yeah. Well, I
has
looked
to
it
do
up.
it.
I
Yeah.
looked it up.
Yeah. How many
There's-
times has that situation
There's
happened?
been quite a few, and including Gore and
Yeah, hilarious.
Nixon
Yeah.
did it, and Humphrey. Was that a president we
Yeah,
had?
Humphrey Bogart?
old.
He was the only president that didn't, vice president that didn't show up to certify his loss.
Oh, that's
Love.
hilarious.
I see
I'm
it,
like,
bro.
that's
I'm
baller.
not showing up. Someone else
Now,
can do it.
reverse stats. If Kamala had certified her win, she'd be one of two vice presidents
really
to have
Thomas Jefferson.
certified their win after being actively being VP
Am I-
and won.
Am I
And
right, Thomas Jefferson?
No, it was. Let me pull
I
it
think
up.
that
I'm
was
sorry.
put into place later.
She's only second vice president in modern history. It doesn't
Modern
tell me.
But
history.
yes,
Ancient history.
Vice President Thomas Jefferson then became president.
Became the president.
Oh yeah, only 15 vice out of the 49 vice presidents. That seems crazy.
15 presidents.
Were vice presidents beforehand?
Yeah.
We're also president. We're also president.
That's,
That's
a pretty
pretty
big
good.
number.
That's like
a
a quarter.
third. Yeah.
VP, yeah,
A third.
I mean, yeah, it's crazy. It's cool. And Trump's only one of two to have separated terms, right?
Yeah.
That's wild.
She was very strong, I will say.
She's-
In that I don't know if I lost
Oh yeah.
that
I mean, 'cause
hard.
when Hillary
if I could
lost,
show up and show my face and be like, "Yep, I certify that he's the winner."
when
he won
Hillary
this election,"
lost,
that'd
it
be
was a big
painful.
deal, obviously, for her, and she still went to the inauguration.
Right.
But imagine, like you said,
Having
having
to
go
nail
and being
in
like,
the coffin of
and
my.
what's even crazier, talk about too much information
Yeah.
in the world of too much information. We could probably start slimming down these government procedures because
Yeah.
I feel like we don't live in a world where you could have gone through election and not known how many electoral votes. Like
Yeah.
it's plastered
Yeah.
everywhere nowadays, and still Kamala had to be like, Trump won by 312 electoral college
Yeah.
votes. And Kamala D. Harris lost. She's literally said lost by 200 and whatever. And I was like, do we have to say that? Can we just
Yeah.
say it's good?
It's like twisting the knife.
it's crazy. But yeah, I mean that's brutal.
So it's official. We are
Yeah.
in for hell.
January
for
20th.
4 more years.
Apparently, it's transfer of power, and I'll say in peaceful transfer of power,
I'll
Yeah,
say
peace.
out storming the Capitol.
out insurrections.
in.
I don't know how we had to, why we had to say
In.
that.
Wait, why?
Yeah. Shout out.
Out insurrection.
Shout out.
Crazy.
In taking over Canada.
Yeah.
Taking over Canada.
Yeah.
so
Out Justin Trudeau.
Oh yeah.
out Justin
Bye.
Trudeau.
Hold on.
Oh, thank you. In maybe Canada in the U.S.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Would that be
that feels
because
like
they,
so much paperwork.
they have states, right?
Yeah. I don't think
It's not
the
gonna
general
happen.
public of Canada would want that, but
I don't think.
I think the
How does that
American
even
Republicans
work?
in Canada would
That feels
want
like
that.
imaginary work. How do you just combine countries? There's no paperwork
It
on
would,
that.
it'd be the same way as like if two big companies merged,
Merged.
they'd fire a whole bunch of people that worked in Canada.
It would
No,
the
wouldn't
biggest
they
problem
stay
would
in
be
power and be like the Canada branch of all the
Of
things they were
America?
doing?
yeah, probably
I
just
think
new
it would kind of
management.
be it would kind of be like America Samoa.
Go
It
ahead.
would be like all you people
She
in
knows more than
Canada,
us.
you're Canadian still, but like you're ours.
Keep at it, but you're
I don't think
you're
they would-
us now.
I don't think we'd like consume them as states.
Isn't there something about Hawaii like that where they
annexed? We just took it. We took
Yeah,
the nation
like-
of Hawaii.
Like, there are people in Hawaii that like still are
Yeah.
like, we're not Americans.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
Okay.
Absolutely.
If you go
And they're
to
not.
Waimea,
Amen.
if you go to Waimea Canyon, there's this guy
Oh.
that stands there, and I forget his name, but I'm friends with him on Facebook.
Very, very good.
In traditional
Garb. Yep.
Polynesian garb, and he's standing there like at his guard post basically, and he has a spear, and he's like, "Hey, so I'm out here telling people, I'm basically going to be standing here until I die, telling you the fact that this country was sovereign.
Yeah.
The state of Hawaii used to be Hawaii, just a country. And then the U.S. came in and basically
took it.
forced the queen
We
to like
locked her-
sign over the rights to the country. It was like by force.
We locked her in a house until she, like, truly imprisoned her until she, Queen K, until she agreed to
and this,
give over the country.
we're talking not even like barely 100 years ago.
Wow.
Like,
enslaved
Yeah.
the Native Hawaiian people to work in the pineapple fields.
and then we hit them with the also pineapples, not native to Hawaii
No.
either.
We just figured out they grew well.
And so like,
White people suck.
I mean, where do we?
Yeah.
I mean, because
Maybe that's something that could be
unfortunately,
in.
like,
Let's just let
in-
Hawaii be their own country. You know, let's
What-
let's
what
let
I don't
that.
get is,
the
like-
problem is I love going there.
Well, you can still
But you know
go
what's
there.
crazy is, like, in the same way, if you look in, oh my gosh, because Hawaii was annexed and then like adopted as a state in like, I want to say 49,
Right.
50, like truly not that long ago. And what's crazy, if you look at the like political cartoons of those eras, it presents Hawaii and Puerto Rico,
Yes.
because Puerto Rico was also like, we own it
1893.
in a way, own it. But
January 17th coming up on the anniversary.
Rough.
sorry. But if you look at all of the stuff, it's like Puerto Rico and Hawaii as these like distressed women in like shambles and like basically, you know, like these quote unquote native women in these like, you know, like
Wait,
barely clothed and like begging Uncle Sam for
Yeah.
help. And that is what was pushed towards the American people. And they're like, oh my gosh, yeah, let's take it. Let's help them. And
what
it's like, no.
what year did you say it was?
What year were they adopted as a
1893,
state?
and I'll tell you what, the
That's what I was
overthrowing
thinking,
process
100
was
years
much
ago.
more brutal
state.
than just locking her in a house.
Yeah.
In 1895, Hawaiian royals attempted to restore Queen, and I'm not even going to attempt the name. I'm sorry, I don't know it.
I know,
to power, and she was but she was
I think I know
arrested
it.
and
It's-
forced to give up her claim to the throne. She was put on trial in her own throne room, convicted, fined, and sentenced to 5 years in prison.
Mm-hmm.
Her sentence was later reduced to 8 months in an upstairs bedroom of the palace.
The Liu Okalani.
Yeah.
That is wild, you guys.
Yeah.
This is not okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. And so now we're to deal with the fact that the propaganda worked.
Yeah.
right?
It
I
did.
mean, this
But
is not
what year
something
was
that
it adopted as a state?
1950 something. I think.
1993.
No.
No.
I'm sorry, 1893.
No. That's when we took it over
Oh, okay.
as a
I want to say
territory.
1959
It was like in the
or something.
yeah, it's like truly not that long ago.
What was it?
Statehood.
1959.
Yeah. Booyah! I was 10
Amazing.
years off. I said 49.
Whoa, that is
Yeah.
crazy.
Way too-
Eisenhower did it.
But
Eisenhower
I mean,
signed the bill.
Pearl Harbor, we already had military bases there.
Yeah.
Right. 1941,
Yeah.
I think.
Because we had already annexed it. We already took
be-
it.
Like we be there. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's a tough pill to swallow for me. I'm not
see,
gonna lie.
Small island we take.
Mm-hmm.
I could see how we could not. I don't think it's right. We shouldn't have done it. But I could see how the military could be like, we're gonna take this over. All of Canada.
Yeah,
I just don't.
We're not gonna
I don't
take
foresee
over Canada. But Trump does keep floating the idea of like, hey, like
Canada, you could
yeah,
join
sure.
us.
Join
Come on over
us.
here, Canada. Can you imagine
Yes.
how big that would? Wait,
Insurrection. Insurrection.
Can you imagine?
I feel
Yes.
like I feel like
Literally, yes.
I was gonna say
We
the
are recording
landmass
this.
of America would be huge.
we are recording this on the 4th anniversary of January 6th,
Yeah.
which was a pretty eventful day in podcast history for us.
I remember working and watching it on the television and be, like in the background on mute and being like, "There's no way this is happening."
And it's
Yeah.
the only time it's ever happened in 47 presidents, and
Yeah.
and I just feel like we didn't talk about it enough. Is that crazy?
You know,
it
what,
was.
you know what we're not talking about enough.
Go ahead.
And just because this comes on the heels of a pretty historic presidential pardon with Biden, but Trump very much vocally plans on
Pardoning all those guys.
every single person that was involved in January 6th riots. And I'm like, and I've talked to some people who genuinely believe that's a good idea,
No,
and I'm
that's
like,
insane.
how are you?
Which
hold on.
part of it is
How
good?
is that? How is that normal? Like, I'm like you believe in
think-
justice.
If anything, it
they did
celebrates
something
it.
Bad.
Yes.
It's hard because I could see how people see it as like, vocalizing your rights. At no point should anyone do that.
At best, it's we're sweeping it under the rug, and at the worst, it's we are celebrating
Yes.
where government officials, police died.
Yes.
They broke into our Capitol building. Like,
Well,
what are we talking about
And
here?
then the thing that's hard, the thing that's hard about it too is like, we're like, presidents are pardoning literal criminals,
Sure.
like actual like people who have like
I know.
like full criminals. And like I agree, those people that were frontline headquartering like doing this, absolutely you need to be punished for what you did.
Yes.
Right.
You did the crime.
I'm sorry.
Don't do the crime. You can't serve time.
The
You know what I'm saying?
moment they broke through that barrier, you had a choice in that crowd. You walk the other way and you
Yes.
decide this
Or
is
you
no
keep
longer
going.
happening, or you're walking.
You're
and,
trespassing on
and
government.
the argument that
official
some of these
land.
people didn't. All they did was walk through the halls. I'm sorry. What?
Yeah.
Like you? That's
What was their
you're a part of
intention?
it now.
What
you're
was
a
their
part of
intention?
it now.
It's
Yeah.
it's kind of like, it's crazy because that's what like crazy assholes like that is what this country was literally made off of. It's like, you know what? Actually,
Okay.
bye.
Hold on.
No, I'm not saying I'm not.
Hold on.
Actually, that is exactly what I said.
Cut
But in
that.
the
That is
same,
exactly what
Cut
you said.
that.
in the
But
same, like cut that out and throw it away.
Cut that out of the
no,
podcast.
No, we're not cutting that out.
What? Explain that to me. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
That is what I think people are equating it to, is they see the government right now as, whatever the heck. Oh, like
Oh, you're
that's what they're equating it to. I don't
You're
think
saying
that they are that
drawing,
like that.
You're drawing that the reason that these guys are heroes is because the foundation of the United States of America was built on defiance.
Yes. And that is where the people who are like, oh my gosh, they were just doing their rights. No, they weren't. No, they
Yes.
weren't, because they had
so
actual
cooked.
they had nothing that they were like, there was no plan. What, you got in there, you had everyone in front of you. What were you going to do?
Right.
Nothing. You were just causing chaos. You had nothing that you wanted to get done.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
I don't
right.
know.
You're right.
But I'm saying that's where people are equating it to the founding fathers in that same sense, in the Revolutionary War of like, well, like, when the government, like, we have the right to overthrow the government at any point. Go, that's great. Do you have a plan?
Even
What are
on
you
its,
gonna do?
even on its best day, even in a world where we believe every lie that we've been told about the American Revolution, and the fact that the Pilgrims came to this country because
Ugh.
they were they were
Running
under
from-
religious persecution,
No.
and this country was founded on the freedoms of religion and
And if
the
you
press,
believe the
and to
lies
do all these things.
of
It's like
Thanksgiving and
the people that are coming to now storm the Capitol are like, we need to get Jesus back into the classroom. We need to take this country back for Jesus, and we need to, no more
Yeah.
government. It's like, no, man. Like,
Well,
Literally
that's
no.
what's so
Literally
funny.
no.
It's like it
you're representing a
cracks me up.
fascist, man. Like
Yeah.
he wants complete power over the government, and I'll be really not that shocked when in the next 30 days he tries to take it. I just feel like it's crazy, man.
I don't
It's
think I think
it's
our
crazy.
government is strong enough that he will never have full power over the government. He can't.
I don't know.
He
I
just
don't know.
won't.
Bum bum bum. It's fine. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna.
It's
be fine.
hey,
gonna
you
be
know
fine.
what?
It's
He
gonna be
can't
fine.
run again,
Yeah, 4 more years and
and then we're done.
yeah.
that's
I'd like to
when
think. I'd like to think
TJT
it's the craziest it's gonna get, but you never know who's next in the
Dude,
pipeline.
4 more years as if
DTG,
Oh.
Donald Trump Jr.
That
That's
is
when
pretty
Junior's
wild.
gonna be running.
No.
Junior.
Not that.
Not
Junior.
Not Junior.
Do you guys remember? Talk about hearkening to a time before us.
Oh,
Remember
please.
this show used to run like 70 minutes.
I know.
We'd clock like
I
75-minute
know.
episodes. Can you
I
believe that?
It's hard to
No.
believe, really.
I
truly.
think we could
We
probably
can easily do
yap for
that.
another
We
30.
Yap.
No,
yeah,
I'm just
we're
glad we don't.
yappers.
We're not going.
I know we
Oh,
could.
Certainly.
I know
We're
we
not
could,
gonna.
but I'm just kinda glad we're not
Folks,
doing
we want to thank those of you that support us on Patreon. Hey, for $4 a month, you can support this show. You can head on over to the Patreon. You can give us $4, and you can watch the post show. A lot of fun we have on the post show. You can watch the behind the scenes content. You can see all the merch drops when they go through. Direct announcements from the What the Podcast crew when they come out.
it. Podcast crew.
A lot of fun stuff's coming out this year on the
Excited.
Patreon exclusive. And so just thank you for that. Head on over to the bio to get the link for that. And as we wrap up here, we just want to say, comment below if you have some ins and outs this year.
Guys,
drop it in the comment section.
One of my ins.
Go ahead.
Hanging out with you guys more.
Aww. So sweet. Out.
Oh, I have to fill in the blank?
Yeah, go ahead.
Group A.
Let's hear it. All my other friends. That
you heard it here first. You're done.
Oh, well,
you're cooked.
There you have it. Cooked. John, any last ins and outs for you?
No, I think in just trying to find moments of happiness and out being stressed.
Love that,
Ryan.
I would echo that. I'll be original. I'm gonna say in, get my heart rate up. I'm gonna say it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it.
Cardio,
get that ticker going.
We say it every year, but this year
29's the new 40.
real.
That's what people say. And let's see. Out the haters.
The haters are out.
I would say out the haters. Out them. On the
love
couch as
the
always,
haters.
Annie the Scoveman. I'm Ryan.
I'm John.
And we'll see you next week on What the Podcast. By the way, Kara's out. She's
Yeah, I was
sick.
going to say we never addressed the Kara was
Poor honey.
here.
Oh, Kara's sick.
We never even brought it up. What is wrong
Poor
with us?
thing.
No, out, Kara.
Out. Kara.
In next week, Kara.
In JFK
Oh my God.
as our new co-host. Can you see him?
I can see him just fine. Oh my God.
I love it here.